What a crowd. Day after the 4th of July. I'm so pleased that you've come out. This is a very exciting reading. I'm really thrilled that you've come to Malvern Books tonight for Kelly Luce and Pam. Pam Jones. I always want to call you. I used to know somebody named Pam, and you're not Pam Frey, so I'm sorry. That's the first name that comes to my mind when I hear that. So thank you so much for coming tonight. There's food. Please eat it, because if you don't, I will. Don't need it. Not going to happen. Okay. So we have books for sale by the authors, and the first reader tonight will be Pam Jones, right? No, it's going to be Kelly, right? Is that what we decided? Kelly. Pardon?
Pam's the all-star actor.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Let me put on my glasses. Kelly Luce grew up in Brookfield, Illinois. She's written this wonderful book called 3 Scenarios in Which Hanna Sasaki Grows a Tail. That's the first time I've ever said that name out loud. So I've pronounced it at least 100 different ways with my dyslexia. So after graduating from Northwestern University with a degree in cognitive science, she moved to Japan, where she lived and worked for 3 years. Her work has been recognized by fellowships from the MacDowell Colony, Ragdale Foundation, the Kerouac Project, and Gentile Arts, and has appeared in the Chicago Tribune, Crazy Horse, Kenyon Review, American Short Fiction, the Southern Review, and other magazines. She lives in Santa Cruz, California, and Austin, Texas, where she is a fellow at the Mishner Center for Writers at the University of Texas and fiction editor of the Bat City Review. Bat City Review is here. I'll tell you about it later. Her first book, the short story collection, 3 Scenarios in Which Hanna Sasaki Grows a Tail.
It's already out.
Yes. Has been long listed for the Frank O'Connor Award and won the 2013 IndieFab Awards Editor's Choice Prize. So we are very fortunate to hear Kelly read and meet her, and y'all are very fortunate to be able to fight over her book and buy it from me. Thank you very much. Welcome, Kelly.
I love this overview. Thank you, and thanks y'all for coming out. It's super hot, and it's a holiday weekend, so appreciate you coming. And so when I was invited to read here with Pam, I immediately stalked her on Google, as you do, and what I read of her work was so excellent and exciting. I can't wait to hear you read. So, I'm going to read a few short things. I'm always jealous of poets at readings because they get to change it up like every minute or something. So instead of reading one long story, I'll read a few short ones. I'll read one from the book that came out last October. This guy. It's the title story. It's in here somewhere. It's really short, that's why I can't find it. Wait, there it is. Okay, page 79. 3 Scenarios in Which Hanna Sasaki Grows a Tail. 1. It is her 30th birthday. She wakes alone. Her right hand reaches around to feel a soft length of hair that wasn't there when she took her bath the night before. She shuffles to the full-length mirror, cranes her neck. The tail is 3 inches long and gleams silver with a lavender tinge. One end thin and flyaway, the other thick as a rope. It sprouts from the asymmetrical dark button at the base of her spine, what her mother used to call her hydrangea mole. Her mother loved hydrangeas, but Hanna has always found them a bit over the top. Hanna prefers tulips. She slides her palm beneath the tail and runs her thumb over the strands. Such softness, it's like a baby's rose petal cheeks. The phone trills. Her mother's nasal sing-song tells the answering machine to keep a positive outlook. Women far older than 30 are marrying nowadays. Hannah steps into the shower. It's too early to call a doctor, and though the tail feels odd, it's not exactly painful, and she can't justify the expense and time of an emergency room visit. Water rolls down her back and soaks the bundle. It is thin, dark gray when wet, and the hair at the base rises out slightly from her back before wilting and following the curve of her bottom. She hesitates, then dabs shampoo into her palm and brings both hands behind her back. Lather, rinse, and why not, condition. She lets the conditioner sit for 3 minutes before rinsing with cold water. Cold water closes the hair shaft and makes for a silkier finish. Perhaps later she can braid it, dress it up with ribbon. She will care for it as only she can. 2. Little Hannah has just gotten over the chicken pox. To celebrate, her doting parents take her to the Ueno Zoo to see the red pandas, which their local zoo does not feature. Hannah does not like the Ueno Zoo. It is big, crowded, and the animals look upset. Hannah wonders if the angry gorilla pounding at the glass is contagious, like her sickness. Contagious, she knows, means giving something bad to someone else, even if they don't want it. That was how she got those chicken pox and how she got rid of them. She clings to her mother, whimpering, worried that getting too close to a hideous, wrinkly grandma will make her old and ugly too. They leave the zoo. Father even springs for a taxi. As they stand on the street awaiting an available cab, a rat scrambles out of a trash bin and across Hannah's red sneakers. The child is inconsolable all the way home, and Father must bribe the taxi driver to bring them the entire way. The next day, it's just as Hannah expects. The pink, skinny, hairless tail sticks out just above the elastic on her underwear. She grits her teeth and summons contagion. 3. Hannah has worked at the Saksa station Mr. Donuts for 3 years. Sometimes when business is slow, Hannah calculates the number of possible destinations a person could attain with just 2 steps. The step on a train and the one off. 35 platforms, each servicing 2 or 3 lines, each line hitting 10 to 20 stops, depending on the time of year, week, and day. But Hannah only visits platform 23, where the brown line collects and deposits her daily, to and from the thin-walled apartment she shares with her parents. In the morning, the faces that place orders are alert, but by evening they sag, as if the population ages as the sun crosses the sky. But the next morning, those expectant faces are back, ready for fresh fuel, slightly edited versions of the person they'd been the day before. Does she change too? She feels no evidence of it. Sometimes she gets the sensation that time has frozen to her only, a glitch in relativity, as if she's observing herself from a great distance. She arranges a tray of the store's signature donut, a plain cake O with a baked-on handle for dipping in coffee. They have tails, she thinks. A man in a suit orders 4 donuts and slides the money over the counter atop a thick envelope. He's left not only his money, but the envelope too. She picks it up and out spill photographs of her. She examines them, sharp corners pricking her palms. In each photo, she stands behind this very counter, wearing this red apron, hair tucked behind her ears, as it is now. She twitches and slaps at her lower back. Something has gotten into her waistband. A flea, maybe. That's the end of that one. Should I end with the placenta? I'm going to end with the placenta. Vincent approves. This is a piece of sci-fi flash fiction that is going to be in an upcoming anthology this fall called Gigantic Worlds. Y'all should check it out if you're interested in sci-fi or flash or weird stuff. It's called In the Theater of the Collective Unconscious. In the theater of the collective unconscious, there are no film reels. What appears on screen is a manifestation of the minds in the room. If enough people are upbeat, a light-hearted romance might be born. If it's Monday after work on a particularly bad afternoon for traffic, the story will be full of frustration, violence, revenge. People come to be a part of something. They like the feeling of contributing to an endeavor larger than themselves. If there's even one guy feeling shitty among a cheerful crowd on an unseasonably warm Saturday afternoon at the start of a 3-day weekend, perhaps on the way over, a ponytailed schlub on a hover cycle knocked into him, causing him to drop his hot-off-the-grill Polish sausage into the street, that guy will get his cinematic due. The lover will get food poisoning from a ballpark prank. Or the tough-as-nails lawyer, driving to deliver the closing of her life and free the innocent man, will clip a hover cyclist and send him flying off a bridge. Often these rash plot twists draw boos. "Go outside," someone might shout, looking around for the one with the darkness buried within. "You can't just come in here and infect our story." Individuals can go to private rooms and sit for hours, watching the content of their brains spool onto the screen unimpeded by other minds. The private rooms are also popular date spots. People joke it's an aphrodisiac. Burying your brain prepares you to bare your body. Troy and Ivy fell in love in a private room. It began innocently enough. For their third date, they went to the Indian place she loved, grabbed a couple cylinders of Regretless, hers in gin, his in whiskey, and headed to the theater for what Troy called a good old-fashioned mind meld. They were nervous, like all couples exposing themselves for the first time. You never know what stray, repressed, or perverse thought might pop up on the screen. But with a healthy sense of irony, any cinematic outcome could be explained away, laughed at. The first movie featured a lonely mailman with big dreams. He invents what he thinks will be his ticket to fortune and fame, a human toilet training system for dogs. By this point, Troy and Ivy are necking, heading towards third base. But instead of the movie taking a sexy turn, a Doberman shits on the patent paperwork and bites the mailman's inventing hand. His left, Troy's a lefty. What happened? Why did the dog turn on him? They both ask, "Is that you?" Neither can explain. Troy and Ivy commit. On their 6-month anniversary, they go back to the theater. The movie's like last time. Odd, smart, feel good, and then wham, sudden sadness, loss, betrayal. They continue to visit monthly, and every time a happy ending eludes them. Troy thinks Ivy's hiding something. Ivy goes to the theater on days when a happy film is likely, to see whether she sabotages it. Troy does the same. Neither are capable of ruining it for others. What a downer, right? All right, this last one is called Heliotrope. The placenta began to speak a month into my affair with Nick. The baby had gone right down after his lunch. Tofu pup, rice cake, cup of orange juice. The OJ was our secret. My sister didn't like Bo to have juice because of the sugar, but I felt sorry for the kid. I believe in sugar. The placenta said, cold. At least that's what it sounded like, which made sense. It was in the freezer. I opened the door, and there it sat in its smudgy Ziploc, the blue and green seal lips open at one corner. Was this Nick's doing? Nick was my sister's husband. He was a vision researcher at Duke. Holograms and stereoscopes. No matter how small you cut it, he said, the part contains the whole. Once I joked that's why he liked us both, but he didn't laugh. The placenta went through the proper linguistic stages and fast forward. By 2 months, it spoke in full sentences with subject-verb agreement, and by 6 months, it held forth on politics and philosophy. The placenta was a fatalist, like Nick. It rejected free will. Sounds like a justification for irresponsibility, I said. Get a cooler, pack me up, let's go to Mexico. Don't be unreasonable. In the end, we compromised. I buried it in the garden with a sunflower seed, and later that year, after Nick had left us all, we sat and watched the flower's face track the sun. Thanks, guys.